Onward to very quickly, companion project, the Dorrit Black building. This is Donald Judd's studio. We looked at this as sort of a factory building for the creative output for the art faculty. So this is the building that contains photography, jewellery making, glass blowing, printing, woodwork, everything to do with the application of the craft of the art process they were engaging with. Another emblematic staircase, but inside it actually sits over the footpaths, because the university bought the streets with the footpaths. So we actually looked at ways, there were opportunities to look up and into in a much more three-dimensional manner in this building to engage with the processes of the interior over many floors. And so this massive concrete frame was carved in as we proposed view lines from the street to look up and into the academic programs within. And they are many and varied. So that's the small street that we've actually shifted the footpath around as it sits in underneath the building and pushed the building out to the very perimeter. So those two are a little bit of background to the most recent building, the Hawke building, which is also the Samstag Museum, which is South Australia's new contemporary art museum. So the processes of making that building were pretty intense. The first of our many discussions was about silhouette. Silhouette's something that's always engaged me and the work of our practice, and particularly here as universities have to work so hard day and night. They mean different things to different people, and so we wanted a building that the silhouette changed over the times of the day. And the existing university was very flat-roofed, very singular. You could run a datum right through the whole university. So there, using Bob Hawke's profile, we suggested this should be more flamboyant and have its own energetic silhouette. Another discussion was that their brief was a fantastic brief full of incredible aspirations, but otherwise it read as quite a dull series of teaching spaces. And I'll just touch on this story because I may have mentioned it before, but it comes out of these sort of close relationships with universities and really good discussions. The Vice-Chancellor of this university was our greatest ally, and she engaged with the architectural process like nobody I've ever met before. So we went back and said, look, we really feel there is no great space in this building. It doesn't have a single sort of forum space. And could we take 3 teaching spaces, put them into one, into this spatial mix, so that the building's no bigger, but it has some kind of grand centre. And then we looked at the way we could treat that. So it starts down here on the lower left with one of my favourite quotes when D.H. Lawrence was stuck in Australia and hating every minute of it in the 1920s while writing the novel Kangaroo. He described to all his letters home, D.H. Lawrence, upside down at the bottom of the world. And it's just a wonderful analogy. Here we are upside down at the bottom of the world, adhered by gravity, and sort of thought there's the starting place, because this is the Bob Hawke Prime Ministerial Centre is a research centre and, if you like, a political mouthpiece for the culture of continuing discussion about parliamentary democracy. Well, parliamentary democracy was a Northern Hemisphere concept. It was transferred through various cultivars down here. So we thought if parliamentary democracy was a whole sphere, we're this little bottom bit. We're upside down at the bottom of the world with our own cultivars. But that shape also has many common themes. The alchemist's crucible, where fierce argument and debate can be held as part of the process of experimentation. It's also the cross-section through a Roman forum where parliamentary democracy was first mooted. So into that, to this rather abstracted bottom part of a sphere. It obviously had to have a flat floor, it had to contain people, but out of it came this cambered form of this vast forum. These sort of stories are interesting. They allowed us to sell the idea to the university, but they become their translation, the way they can tell students and other people. In fact, that whole story is now quoted in a little entry as you enter into this great forum space, which looks out and connects the university back through to the view across to the city centre.